With every single tick-tock of the clock, time don't stop, but it only get intensified. With a vision to ride, my mind's eyes only visualize and get prepared for the strenuous time. Cause everybody wanna know when it's gon' pop. Cause the 2G flop, when it gon' drop. No, not either day of the time, but take a look at the sign. Cause only seconds till the show stop.
Everybody be looking at me through the microscope. Oh, I can't flow, finna rock the boat. Just because all my people living comfortable, don't mean everybody got a front to roll. See, ain't like Mo, the niggas and hoes. And how much dough, or what you roll, or what he roll. To the pick a war show, or how much endo a nigga could blow. See, vanity, you put a hole in your dome like a cavity. Now all y'all niggas looking mad at me, cause I'm fancy free, you living fast and free. See, y'all were concerned with the club at night, and wish Doug finna hug the mic, but never think about the fact that these motherfuckers drug despite all the water in the food supply. And airplanes fly high in the sky, spraying microscopic from the tropics. Man-made shit up in your optic, noxious. I'm an toxic, but I'm finna switch topics. All about these fake ass cops. They love to drop all my niggas in the cell to rock. Put a shot in the bumper clock, but the boy blood clot. Cause it's all just an inch you plot. Because they got the technology, probably that'll be all up in your brain like lobotomy, sodomy of the mind, kinda like psychology. Never get apology, gotta be running through the blood genealogy. Open your eyes, focus your mind, cause the things that you can't see, much realer than the things that you can't see. I'm spitting facts that react, but you really can't stand.
With every single tick-tock of the clock, time don't stop, but it only get intensified. With the vision to ride, my mind's eyes only visualize and get prepared for the strenuous time. Cause everybody wanna know when it's gon' pop. Cause the 2G flop, when it gon' drop. No, not either day of the time, but take a look at the sign. Cause only seconds till the show.
Yo, pick up the pace. When I penetrate and meditate, you bitch niggas sit back and menstruate. Heed the words, focus and fixate. The horns blowing, don't be late to get caught with a deadly onslaught. The fist, the cup, saints, gunshots, my gun cock, aimed at the wicked World War III prescripted. To the Bible, I'm addicted, strive to be a brainiac and you a nick. With the unfruitful's already been sifted, nigga, you better get with SOJ, get evicted, watch me rip it. Similar to when heads roll, my rhymes cold like my lines are from the North Pole. 200 million angels to the toll, take off your blindfold. Remember being bought and sold, it'll be a lame nigga. Take out the game, nigga, black, Indian, Latin, it's all the same, nigga. We gotta pull it together like a gun trigger, wait for Christ to deliver. 144 G's in the figure, move to the zone with vigor. Plus I live the life of a villain, it's Mike who's not listening. I'm still dealing, still with a double-edged sword, slicing penis and whores. And yo, in the name of the Lord, who's ready to settle the score and kick down Esau's door. Got the word on lock like a figure four. My soldiers hit the floor on one accord. Boy, you get destroyed if you lack knowledge. You be SOJ, nigga, I doubt it. This is where the unlearned get confounded. In my zone, I try to stay well-rounded. But you see me on the streets, you look astounded. I got the strap to Esau, and this is how it sounds.
Ain't gon' be another day walking in the way of the heathen. Conflict in it. Niggas are scared to open their ears to the true teachings of the Almighty. Yahweh, his word is our power devours non-believers and coward decomposed flesh. The hours opponents, be honest opponents. Gonna split truth all the way to Daytona. You stress about tomorrow and what's coming for you. Don't think about your inner, even what you're doing. Cash flow, blunt flow, how about those you're doing? What you doing? Who you choosing? Expiration date of who is brewing. Inquire of the Lord, as he holds the sword. With every single tick-tock of the clock, time don't stop, but it only get intensified. With a vision to ride, my mind's eyes only visualize and get prepared for the strenuous time. Cause everybody wanna know when it's gon' pop. Cause the 2G flop, when it gon' drop. No, not either day of the time, but take a look at the sign. Cause only seconds till the show stop. With every single tick-tock of the clock, time don't stop, but it only get intensified. With a vision to ride, my mind's eyes only visualize and get prepared for the strenuous time. Cause everybody wanna know when it's gon' pop. Cause the 2G flop, when it gon' drop. No, not either day of the time, but take a look at the sign. Cause only seconds till the show stop. No, not either day of the time, but take a look at the sign, cause only seconds till the show stop.
All right, here we go. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. While you help us out, it's your brother IQAhmath. I acquire first name. IQ is all the same. You've reached another episode. DSTM, don't shoot the messenger. If you've been around, you've been picking up what I've been putting down. But if you have not, don't get too close because you might get shot. I need y'all to do me a favor, right? Double back and listen to that song again that we did 25 years ago, called Intensified. Measure it out to what we've been going through of late and see whether or not we was talking bush, just rapping, or was we saying some stuff that was forthcoming, going on, and prophetic, if you will. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, and that's not out of vanity. I'm just asking y'all to just hear, so it can help enhance, you know, what everybody's witnessing and seeing, because everybody, receives and understands differently. A lot of people came into Israel just through the music alone, and the music ministry, so to speak, right? But I was listening to that again, and I said, man, a lot of that is going on right now. And the name of the song is Intensified. And what better title of a song to put down in comparison to what's happening right now in the times that we're living in right now? Things are getting intensified. Serious escalations are going on. Russia has made a nuclear threat to the U.S., if you haven't heard already. Russia is in the midst of helping arm China to prepare for war for Taiwan, if you haven't heard. The UN and NATO has acknowledged that they are ready to go to war and they're ready to shoot down Russian planes. If you haven't heard already, if you haven't heard already, the whispers of civil war is going on right here in the quote unquote homeland. If you haven't heard already, the food and the water, the air supply, everything is tainted. The earth has been defiled. It's going down. We're in the spirit of trumpets right now, blowing the trumpets. We just observed and celebrated last Sunday evening, going into Monday till sundown. This is the spirit that we're in right now. All praise to the Most High for the insight and for his celebratory days to help us stay in tune with the spirit of what's going on. These aren't just your typical holy days. We don't do these things traditionally, just like, we learn how to do things traditionally in the world, going through these particular folly days. 4th of July. Oh, okay. We got Thanksgiving, Christmas. We got, New Year's. We got Easter. We, all of the ones we all typically know. No history, no real understanding, no background. It's just traditional. Hey, we always do a smoked ham and whatever else for black eyed peas for New Year's, and we always have the cookout on July 4th. But what does it all mean? That's when we all stopped and said, what the hell am I doing? Why am I observing these particular days? And then when you do the history, you start understanding, you're learning about pagan customs, so forth and so on. Then you realize, hey, we're not supposed to be doing these things. Do we have true and high holy days that we're supposed to be observing, like today, the Sabbath? Absolutely. Is there meanings and understandings behind them? Absolutely. See, that's what we are all supposed to be engaging in right now. Prayerfully, everybody's well. If you're doing well, put a 7 in the chat. If I'm coming in clear, put a 7 in the chat. Do that for your brother, would you? 7 in the chat if you're doing well today on Shabbat, day of the Lord. Let me know if I'm coming in clear. Throw a 7 in the chat. We've been experimenting with some new mics, some new sound, trying to enhance the experience for the family. All praises. I see some 7s in the chat. All praises. All praises. Good deal. Let me share my screen with y'all, because we need to get right to it. So much stuff going on. Y'all know it. You see it. You got political assassinations going on. You've got multiple internal threats threatening the sovereignty of America. Everything that we've been waiting on, looking for. Right? Let's look at this Proverbs 4:7. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. What is it all about? What are we engaging in? How and where are we headed towards? You know, and I know we're headed towards World War III. We're headed towards turmoil, Jacob's trouble. Sorry, y'all, I can't give you good news today. The good news is the gospel, teaching repentance. That's what we're supposed to be doing. The good news ain't happy-go-lucky, tap dancing up and down the aisles and jigabooing on the pulpit. preaching prosperity gospel. The good news isn't how I can connive and swindle affairs with other men's wives behind the pulpit. You dig what I'm saying? That's not the good news. Good news is our Lord and Savior, Hamashiach Yahweh, whom the world is calling Jesus Christ ignorantly. That's where we have to get a greater understanding of saying, well, the good news really is teaching repentance, getting our people back into the laws, right? Luke 4, Isaiah 61 tells us what the real gospel is, right? We're not going to go there, but in the future, if need be, we will. Proverbs 23:12 says, apply thine heart unto instruction and thine ears to the words of knowledge. Now's the time we're supposed to be getting into knowledge, understanding, right? This isn't the time to be looking for feel goods. This ain't the time to be chasing after trends and rumors and sipping tea with whatever's going on in the entertainment world, whatever's going on within the Israelite toxicity community, because there is a community of Israel that just loves toxicity and ignorance and dumb stuff, who haven't broke free from the world. They're trying to drag, them things back in. No. Now's the time that we got to get some knowledge and understand, hey, man, what's going on? How close are we? Like in that song says, everybody wants to know when it's going to drop because the 2G flopped. Because back then you had Y2K. And everybody was wondering, when's the bomb going to drop? When's it going to drop? Because the 2G flopped. Because people were thinking 2000 was going to be the end of the world. Y2K, the computer's going to shut down. We're going back to the dark ages. All hell's going to break loose. We didn't teach that, but that was the prevailing understanding amongst many circles in the world, right? But and that's why also in the song it says, no, not either day or the time, because nobody knows, not even Yahweh knows. The angels in heaven don't know. So we never put a time stamp on anything. There's a lot of dumbed down Christians running around talking about the rapture was supposed to happen on the 23rd of September. Many of y'all heard about that. They swore the rapture was going to go down. They all help. Another bogus prophecy that went down, just like Harold Camping did back in 2009, when he was running around telling everybody that the rapture is going to happen, the end of the world is going to go down. These are the false Christs arising, false prophets arising. It's all here. We're seeing it. Let's look at this. Proverbs 22. And let's look at 17. Bow down thine ear and hear the words of the wise, and apply thine hearts unto my knowledge. So this is the time we're supposed to be studious and getting understanding. The trumpet has been blown. The warnings have been out, right? Now ain't the time for our people to be sitting back with their hands between, sitting on their hands and not really exercising their faith and not being astute to understanding knowledge and trying to figure out a greater understanding on where and how you can prepare your families, yourself, right? Now's the time we're supposed to be absorbing it and bringing ourselves into knowledge, because that's one of the key principles that will maintain us during these times. Isaiah 33 tells us that in verse 6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. So when things are becoming unstable, which now we're seeing, and we're going to look at it in a minute, like the scripture say, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. How many times has Trump flip-flopped on things? Now he's pushing towards war with Russia. All the time he's talking about he's the president of peace. He's going to end all the wars and all this other stuff, holding all these peace conferences, celebrating the fact that he got Putin to come over to Alaska to go meet up with them, and said that they had a very constructive conversation, and he knows and understands me, and he's fearful of what? Now all of a sudden he's saying, hey, you know what? I think Ukraine can beat Russia. Actually, I think they can not only beat Russia, they can get parts of Russia. Yeah, you know what? I'm backing them. I'm going to go ahead and sell more weapons to them. I'm going to push the war even fast forward. Now he's pushing that. That's the instability that he's created in the earth. The instability of him acting as if he's for the so-called blacks and Hispanics. When he got elected, what did he do once he got up in here? Unleash ICE, unleash all hell on the Northern Kingdom and on the Southern Kingdom as well. Police state. Even slow Biden didn't even do this damn bad. Slow Biden didn't call for the National Guard on the streets and everything else, and FEMA camps being set up all over the country, employing and breaking down the economy even worse than slow Biden has. They about to have there's a good possibility that they're going to have a government shutdown next week, and his answer is no furloughs, fire them. And if you know what a furlough is basically you're going to get laid off, but your job will be held intact until things turn around, and you'll still be eligible for benefits and things of that nature. But he's saying get ready to lay off and even fire hundreds upon hundreds of people holding government jobs. That's instability, right? You don't even know where the government budget is going to come from in the next week. But when things become topsy-turvy and trouble is ahead, i.e. Jacob's trouble in Jeremiah 30, what's going to keep us stable? The Lord said wisdom and knowledge. What wisdom and knowledge? Wisdom and knowledge of the scriptures, right? You got to have the knowledge, the know-how of basic things of how to pray, how to maintain a relationship with the Most High, how to stay in commandment and on code with the law, statutes, and commandments, right? And the wisdom of when and how to apply these particular principles that we're seeing. There's some in the Israelite community, they shame on anybody who says, hey, you better get prepared, you better have some things in order, because in their mind, they're thinking that means we're going to be able to avoid total destruction. And then no. It's not what it's about. It's about knowing the time that you're in and moving within the time, being vigilant, right? You got to be able to read the room. When you start seeing things collapsing, people losing their jobs, layoffs, firings, all this other stuff, right? This is the time that you're supposed to say, you know what, let me be wise on my job. You know what, let me make sure I'm on time, not on the same old lazy day. I'm always late. Shit, everybody late. Yeah, and everybody's about to get laid off. All these companies are budgeting cutbacks. Trump just spent $500 billion on AI to take your jobs. They saying by 2030, it's only going to be 5 concrete jobs around. The rest is going to be turned over to AI. They're moving into every little side hustle that Jakes know. You think of Uber and Lyft and all that? The self-driverless cars are taking that. Deliveries are taking that. You're worried about the stocking and the warehouse job, they taking those things. AI is already self-duplicating itself and already learning how to reprogram. So programming jobs are going to be out the way. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of replacements. And that's through him. See? So we only got a certain amount of things that we can actually prepare for. We've talked about ad nauseum about, trying to financially put yourself in a position to sustain, not to obtain, but to sustain during hard times. Food, power, electricity, you know what I'm saying? Like water, things of that nature that will become valuable assets in the near future. Utilizing those things. I mean, we see about preparations in times of dearth and famine that happened to our forefathers and foremothers. And what did they do? Joseph, prime example. In other situations, the Most High, we had to go through it. We prayed. Most High didn't deliver us in certain instances. We had famines during Nehemiah. There was famines during Acts. There was famines during Ezekiel. So we learn, the scripture say, the things that were done aforetime before our learning, we learn from them things and say, okay, you know what, let me try to figure it out. Nothing is a magic key that's gonna get us up out of here outside of fearing the Most High and keeping the commandments. But you're just trying to keep stable. That's all. And wisdom and knowledge will be the stability that times and strength of salvation. The fear of Yahweh is his treasure, and above all, fearing the Most High is what he treasures most. Right? And this is why the Most High always sends his servants and his prophets out there. What's it say in Jeremiah 25:4? And Yahweh have sent unto you all his servants, the prophets. There's so many brothers out there, and all praise to the Most High. Whether I agree with their doctrine or not, or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's not about what I'm talking about. It's how the Most High is moving the spirit within Israel. There's camps all over the place. Camps I've never seen, heard of, all over the place. Brothers out here teaching, utilizing the internet, utilizing the highways of information to get the information out. He said, I'm sending all my servants to prophets, rising early and sending them. So brothers are waking up at a rapid pace. Sisters are waking up rapid pace. And guess what? Rising early also meaning to give you fair warning, give you early warning. Giving you early warning as a watchman would do, as a security professional would do. Rising up early, getting the understanding, and being told ahead of time. But guess what? But ye have not hearkened nor inclined your ear to hear. That's what ends up happening with our people. Oh, I heard that all the time. Y'all been saying it's the last day forever. This always happens. Man, Putin is bluffing. Trump's bluffing. The UN, I ain't worried about none of that, man. I'm trying to get this money. I'm trying to get this A for weed. Oh, girl, I'm trying to get my BBL done. I'm trying to get this nigga for his money. Like, this is what our people is worried about. I'm trying to get drunk. I'm trying to get high. I'm trying to find out how I can scam and scheme and finesse my way on the internet. I'm trying to, our people are so focused in on everything but the right thing. As the Lord called us sodist children in Jeremiah, the 4th chapter. Matter of fact, let's go there. Because the Lord said, our people, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. And that's why 2/3 of them going to have to get flamed up in here. Jeremiah 4:22, it says, for my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are sodist children. Sodist means stupid when it's all said and done. Stupid, dumb down, ignorant. People say God is all love. When the Most High call you stupid, man, he's letting you know. Let's look at it. You see this? Sodist, dull, stupid. I didn't make that up. That's what the Lord said. No, our people are stupid. Senseless. What do? We act stupidly. You seen our people out there lathering up with baby oil at the Diddy trials, doing anything to go viral, pranking every minute. Everything ain't a damn joke, man. Do I like the joke? Have a good time? Yeah, but in season and time, all of that good stuff. People get so enthralled with the internet and carrying themselves on in the spirit of that old MTV show, Jackass, that they go around here thinking now, and because the problem is it's now being monetized. You can get rewarded for being sottish. You understand what I'm saying? See, I did a video earlier this week. Some of y'all seen it, some of y'all haven't. A lot of times YouTube doesn't, promote or give the notifications when we do stuff on days that they ain't expecting. Let's put it that way, right? So normally they know. You're going to get Torah Tuesday, you're going to get Wednesday, Words of Wisdom, you're going to get a Thursday with Feed the Lions, you're going to get either Friday or Saturday, DSTM, of course, always a closing Sabbath class. But if I, go back to doing Manna Mondays, I used to do them on Mondays, Hump Day, I used to do them on Wednesdays as well. Sometimes, whatever reason, man, the damn algorithm don't push them out there. So sometimes people don't even see or know that notification went out. And the first time that I uploaded the video regarding the Medicaid SNAP and SNAP EBT benefits getting cut and sisters losing their minds, The first time I uploaded it, they muted the whole damn thing. I recorded it. I heard the sound. Everything was fine. When I uploaded it, it was fine. Then I get a couple people hitting me saying, no volume, no volume. I'm like, what? There they go. So I had to re-upload it. But the thing is even with that, that went kind of unnoticed. And look, I'm seeing brothers saying in there, I don't even know what they're going on. YouTube's holding back 18 viewers, 10 likes. I don't know. People ain't wiping their feet. They're popping in and popping out. I mean, what's happening? But remember, the Lord just said they're not going to hear. So I can't even be concerned with whatever's going on, man. But he that had the ear to hear, let him hear, because that's what the Lord said. You're going to send out the prophets and people, they ain't going to hear. I'm not, I'm not trying to beg nobody to listen. When the proverbial, and I'm going to keep it real, when the shit hits the fan, beyond measure, beyond what people is, thinking they can just kind of skate by, then they gonna run around saying, hey, where I can't find, where are they at? Where are they at? Gone. Let's start at 21 in Jeremiah 4. How long shall I see the standard and hear the sound of the trumpet? Hello? Trumpet's being blown. Like, how long is this gonna go on? And are people gonna sit back and say, yeah, I got it. Well, okay. How much more time? We just at the new moon, and brothers asked me to share the testimony regarding 9/11, and we talked about it a number of different times. 9/11, them planes hit, man. Israel thought all hell was gonna break loose, and our school at the time was about 2,500 square feet, big school. And the day that we normally have class was like Tuesday beginner classes. So, the attendance usually maybe get about 8 to 10 people every class. That particular day, because of 9/11, it was a standing room only. I mean, literally, people were standing at the door waiting to hear the word, right? Because they think, oh, World War III is going on. America going to go to war. We're getting bombed. We're getting attacked. What do we do? Prophets tell us, the teachers, and we like, what? Like, where y'all been at all the time? We've been had these doors open and y'all ain't been coming. You ain't want to hear. Oh, no, we've been listening. We see y'all at Lamar Park all the time. We hear you. Yeah, I got literature. And as time went on and as the smoke cleared a little bit and people felt a little bit more secure again, attendance started dwindling away. Because why? Our people love foolishness more. They want to get back to the world. They want to get back to the folly. They want to get back to their foolish ways. So the trumpet's being blown. So how long you going? We see what's going on, see the standard, and hear the sound of the trumpet. But what? My people is foolish. They have not known me. They are Sodom's children, and they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge. So when we're trying to get our people to do good, they don't want the knowledge. They don't want it. But it's okay. And speaking about them sisters now, it's a shame because, like I said, I don't want to sound disparaging to anybody that is in need, keyword need, of those benefits, right? But you got to always know that a gift destroys the heart, and anytime that something is given to you, he can always take it away. Those benefits and those particular plans were used as weapons against our people to divide the home, to make the woman subservient to the government, right? To make the man the enemy, to make him not be needed in the household, to make this persona of a quote unquote strong, independent black woman. They had that old commercial. I remember I was a kid. I don't even know what they was advertising, but there was and if some of y'all know what I'm talking about, what I'm talking about. Throw 7 in the chat. But there was a commercial, and I remember I was a kid, and I remember seeing this commercial, and they were talking about I can bring home the bacon fried up in the pan, such and such, because I'm a woman. And it was all about employing the power of the woman, and it was showing her she can do it all. She taking the kid to school, she frying cooking up swine, and she doing all this other foolishness. Okay, Hashima, you know what I'm talking about. There was I don't even remember what they was what the whole last I was a kid. I don't remember what they was advertising. But it was, I can bring home the bacon fried up in the pan because I'm a woman and all this other foolishness, right? Now we're seeing these women out here begging and pleading and crying and going into a complete frenzy when the so-called white man takes that damn pacifier out the mouth. Look at this. Isaiah 32:9 says, "Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters, give ear unto my speech." Yeah, because that's what happened. Our people are sitting back, our women, they at ease. They always figure, man, that the damn Section 8 check is going to cash. Medicare, the Medicaid benefits is going to be good. EBT is always going to cash it. Now, when that's getting stripped away, if y'all seen that video, them two sisters was out there crying. The one sister talking about, I'm out here in the streets. I don't know what she said. It was sad. It was sad. Multiple kids running around the back. You seeing them on TikTok and all that. All them making their little viral videos talking about how Trump taking away our Trump taking away our. Hey, listen. Scripture say, man, nobody pities a snake charmer when you get bit. Right? The Lord's telling our sisters it's time to raise up. Women at their ease, hear my voice, ye careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. Yeah, you're not going to get it all. You ain't going to be able to, how long you think you're going to be able to, keep getting BBLs and boob jobs and facelifts and trying to, seduce men on the internet and shaking your butt, and all that's going to fail eventually. Shit starts dropping. Gravity kicks in. Drooping and all that. You can't entrap some man laying up with him and getting babies and all that stuff is going to come down to an end, man. The gathering shall not come. Verse 11, tremble, ye women that are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bare and gird sackcloth upon your loins. Yeah, because you know what? It's going to be a time when these so-called strong women out there, they're going to need that security. You're going to need that man in your life to be a hedge. And now is the time when the trumpet's being blown and the so-called white man says, white zaddy's cutting you off. I'm broke. Matter of fact, I got to invest in war. I got to invest in myself. I got to invest in my own community. I've got to manipulate and trick the books in the stock market so I can compound my wealth even more. And I'm not giving you none. Sister says she got $23 in food stamps. How you can't get a damn Big Mac combo and maybe a shake or something for that? How you gonna feed multiple babies with that? See that? Don't tell me you found it. Ashar, be on it. You found it? I can't click on it. Let me see. That must be it. That was a woman's perfume. All right. So y'all know what I'm talking about. My old schoolers know. y'all know. But not to harp on them, man, and get sidetracked. But that's just what it is. Our people are gonna catch hell from all sides, and sisters, you not excluded. The men are gonna get it, the women are gonna get it, the children are gonna get it, households are gonna get it. I mean, it's going down. We got to really start taking these things more serious and understanding. That's why the Lord said, I'm gonna blow the trumpet and I'm gonna give you opportunity to atone so that you can get on point with making your path straight, if you haven't already. And if you have, you continue to do so. Amos 3 and 6, shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and Yahweh have not done it? Yeah. The Most High said, I'm involved, and I'm touching every damn thing right now. You want to know what's going on with EU, NATO? That's me over there. Want to know what's happening between Ukraine and Russia? That's me over there. China, Taiwan, that's me over there. India, Pakistan, that's me over there. ICE, Civil War. I said I ain't going to speak his name no more. You know who I'm talking about. He gets smoked. Hey, that's what it is. How that impacted America, and now you're hearing about all these conspiracies about, there wasn't a lone shooter. There was some other stuff going on. See, all this stuff blowing up in Esau's face. The exposure that's happening to him, because the Most High said, man, this is what's going to end up happening. 2 Thessalonians 2, what do you say? We're just going to read verse 3. Just getting right to the point, because we got a lot to cover, and I'm not going to belabor the point no more. 2 Thessalonians 2, verse 3 and 4. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there be a falling away first. So the falling away is when the children of Israel fell from the grace of the Most High's mercy, and the curses came into play. We fell away from our fear of the Most High, keeping of the commandments, fell away from our obligation and our covenantal agreement with the Most High, right? We've gone through and are going to experience captivity throughout captivity. You know, the scriptures say that the Most High's judgment is like a ring. So it's going to continue on. 70 AD ended up coming down. So everything was going to go down. So deceit is going to prevail once the falling away happens. And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. So there's going to be a revealing. Right now, I mean, you got to be damn near Ray Charles to not see and understand and know that the times that we're living in are evil, wicked, and distraught. And you got to say, well, who's running it? Who's behind all of this? You hear the words, quote unquote, elites, right? I guarantee you ain't a black face or black hand that's involved in none of it. You know who's running the earth. You know who's in control of every damn thing. And all you see is evils being multiplied upon the earth, more oppression, more hardship, more poverty, more famine, more corruption, all at the hands of one individual and his people. It's been revealed. Verse 4 is even more of a clue. Who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God. He believes he is the Most High. So, of course, he's not going to be subservient to no blacks and Hispanics saying you're the chosen people and God is with you and the Spirit of the Lord dwells within you and we're going to rule the earth. He ain't having that. He says, I'm above you and your God. What are you talking about? You see that greenback that you've been spending? My face is on that. See that chip that you keep on swiping and tapping? I made that. And I'm going to create a whole new religious doctrine utilizing AI. I mean, he's doing all of this stuff. And you're going to follow it or else? Show your papers. If not, it's throwing you in a damn cage. Right? It says, who opposes and exalted himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. The audacity. You know, we've seen the Cesare Borgia paintings. We've seen the movies and the depictions. He says he is God. I mean, I haven't seen a Arab depiction of Christ outside of them trying to compromise. Well, yeah, we know he wasn't white. He would have looked more Arab, more olive color. So, but that ain't the damn Ishmaelite saying that's Jesus. You ain't seen no damn Chinese, Japanese, African version of Christ. No, the white man says, I'm taking that mantle. I'm going to take that, and I'm going to make everybody feel guilty. Because although I'm the wicked and I'm doing all kind of heinous things throughout the earth, when you see that portrait, you're going to say, hey, I got to forgive him. Because he looks like that. And I can't hold it against him. if I want salvation. Unbelievable psychological warfare that our people is in, and they ain't even understanding how to engage. Right? Let's get to the nitty gritty, y'all. If you haven't wiped your feet already, man, make sure you do so, man. It looks like they over here playing games with the YouTube algorithm. They ain't acknowledging the likes. If not, I know that the notifications haven't been going out. It just is what it is, man. I'm sick of fighting with the beast, man. The diehards who've been picking up what I've been putting down, y'all are already locked in. You're gonna find a way. If you realize, like, damn, brother's supposed to be on, I don't see him, I'm gonna go check anyway. Like, y'all already know what to do. Anybody else is waiting to get notified, whatever, and counting on the system, sorry, it's not me, it's YouTube. But whatever. As they say, one monkey don't stop no show. You dig? So Trump changes his position on the Russian-Ukraine war. Let's make sure we get that understood. I quoted it earlier, but you heard it. I heard it. He said he changes his position on the war. James 1:8, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. And the scriptures also say that a hypocrite with his mouth destroyeth his neighbor. So, excuse me, this is what we're engaged in. Hypocrisy, double-mindedness. He's all over the place.
Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Fun, affordable, and career-focused.
President Trump is shifting his tone around Russia's war in Ukraine, now saying he believes Ukraine can keep all of its land.
It comes as Ukrainian President Zelensky rallies for support at the United Nations General Assembly today, urging world leaders to do more to punish Russia. Russia, over the past several weeks, has escalated its attacks in Ukraine. A meeting between Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Foreign Minister Lavrov in New York today comes at a crucial time. Last month, President Trump rolled out the red carpet for Vladimir Putin in Alaska, but is now sharing frustration. Yesterday, posting on social media, quote, "I think Ukraine, with the support of the European Union, is in a position to fight and win all."
Did you hear that? Now, he said with the support of the European Union. So that means that the EU must get involved in this war if they plan to succeed, which means that Trump is going to back the EU in this war along with the Ukrainians. So we'll continue on.
Of Ukraine back in its original form.
Let them get their land back. Yep. So we'll see how it all works out.
The president yesterday shared support for NATO countries shooting down Russian aircraft if they enter NATO airspace. When asked if he would guarantee the U.S. would be ready to provide support for NATO countries if that happens, he said, "It depends on the circumstances."
President Trump is shifting his tone around.
He always tries to leave the door open so he can flip-flop again. You know, when they put the pressure on him, say, well, does that mean that, you're going to get involved or what? Well, we got to make sure we keep the door open. We don't know yet. Now, he's politicking, man. But this is clearly a far cry from what he used to say. Remember, he just talking about stopping the war. Then they said, well, if they don't come to the table, we're just going to walk away. Didn't do none of the above, right? How far are we? We're talking, it's 11. I'm saying 11. I'm looking at the time. 9/27, September 27th. Right. And here we are 9 months into his administration. January 20th, he said, I'm going to end the war in 24 hours. Now he's pro-war. Now he's saying Ukraine can destroy Russia with the help of the UN and America's going to get their back. What's that sound like to you? What's that sound like to you? You know, when you start getting into let's look at this here. Revelation 64 says, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. Well, the earth has been given into the hand of the wicked, the so-called white man living by the sword, right? These are all things that we have to take into consideration under the guise of knowledge, right? Because this particular spirit is going to possess him and his people to create power that's given to him to take peace from the earth. So war ain't going to start from some Africans. War is not going to start from Ishmael and all. No, the so-called white man is going to have to be involved. He's going to have to be the one that initiates war. Because if you really look at it, man, no other nation outside of himself has really been able to, stand toe. Well, I ain't gonna say that. Ishmael stood toe to toe with him in Afghanistan, but that was in their land. Vietnam, same thing, in their land. When he goes and invades, sometimes he ends up just saying, you know what? The risk ain't worth the reward. We've been here for 20 plus years. We've been here for 10 years. Let's go and get up out of here. Point was made. And everywhere that they left, even though it may look like it was a stalemate, or they surprisingly held their own against the U.S. still comes out on top. Because guess what? Vietnam is still subservient to America. They still over there begging for tourism. They love America over there and the whole nine, even after getting dropped Agent Orange and the whole nine on them. They still sit back and worship America. Same thing in Afghanistan. You seen them when Slow Biden withdrew from Afghanistan. Remember, all them Arabs was running over there chasing the planes and hanging onto the planes and falling off because they wanted them to stay. They wanted to get out of here and go to America. So I don't want to really. So it really technically, even though they kind of fought to kind of a standstill, America still came out on top because guess what? They made the mother nation still bow down and came out victorious. Right? America still got, they grasp on the heroin trade and everything else. So the person and the people and that spirit that's going to take peace from the earth is going to possess the so-called white man. This ain't a literal, it's spiritual when you're looking at it from the perspective of there's a red horse and that's still a spirit, right? That's an angel that's going to give power to a particular people who happens to fit the same profile as that spirit. And they're going to take peace from the earth and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. So that door now is being opened up. Death, destruction, killing, right? Peace being taken from the earth. Now we're in the time of war. We know Ecclesiastes 3 says it's a time for peace and a time for war. Well, guess what time that we're in? All of y'all should know we ain't in the time of peace right now. 2 Ezra 6, 23 and 24 says, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. So there's going to be a sound. There's going to be a noise. There's going to be a trumpet. There's going to be a spirit that's instilled within the earth that the mightiest of men, the wisest of men is going to be afraid. They're going to take notice. They're going to say, oh, what is that? Did you hear that? Did you hear what's going on? Did you know that? Yeah, that's going to be the prevailing word that's going to be circling around the earth. And then what's going to end up happening? At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. You know that Ukraine was once part of Russia. When the USSR was split up and broke down in the early 90s, the Ukrainians went and created their own sovereign state. Just like all the other little, smaller countries around in that area. They're the same people, man. They don't get it twisted. Same people, same language, the whole nine, right? Fighting against one another like enemies, man. All of that, Isaiah 13 tells us that everybody's gonna flee to their own country. You can say, hey, man, Josh is my best friend, and Josh is gonna get over there with it. His people is gonna tell him, Josh, get over here. It's too dangerous over there. You can't hang out with Jerome no more. We gotta look out for our own. At that time, friends are going to fight against each other like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still in the 3 hours, they shall not run. So there's going to be droughts, shortages of water. there's going to be because of the activities, you're going to be restricted from even going to places. Resources are not going to be able to come forth. You know, you get them sparklers gallons delivered to you monthly. That's going to get cut off because they're going to say, hey man, it's too dangerous to drive over there. The routes is cut off. Can't get you your water no more. See, all these things are going to be going down, man. And here we go. This guy's saying, hey, you know what? I think Russia can get them. I mean, Ukraine can get them. We need the UN involved. Look at this. I'm like, these are not clickbait headlines. When I say the Russia versus the UN in America, it's escalating. Look, quote, it will be war. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. That's not coming from me. That's coming from one of the Russian minister in the Russian foreign minister. He said this, and the Most High backs it through the scriptures. In 2nd Ezra 6 and Revelation 17 and Revelation 16 and Revelation 8 and 9 and Ezekiel 37, 38. I mean, Jeremiah 50. I mean, the list goes on. But there's no question that there's going to be inevitable war. I think I said a few weeks ago that the couple of war strategists that I've seen, there's one that says he is expecting something to go down in November. Others are saying next year, early next year, before the summer, right? There's this one Edomite, he got a computer model that goes through all different type of, and I may mention to him, I forgot what his name is, but he's got a particular computer model that goes through all different type of scenarios and the probabilities and everything else. And that thing came out 10 out of 10 times saying war is coming down, and they all say next year. So take that for what it's worth. But take this even more. It will be war. Russia's World War III warning to West if NATO acts on threat to down Putin's jets as tension reach new heights. So NATO has threatened that if Russia flies out of its airspace, they're going to shoot them down. Now, they've already had a couple of pass-bys. Russia's saying, hey, you know what? This ain't restricted airspace. We're good over here. What are you talking about? And NATO saying, no, that was too close. No, y'all was make it, you cross a little bit closer, and we're not going to be scared to shoot you down. And in the results of that, Sergei Lavrov is saying, well, if that goes down, it's definitely going to be war. Russia's already been moving nukes over into what's the name of that place? And it's on the tip of my tongue, and I just can't put it together. Why is it in my mind? Oh man, I am losing my. I know it's right here. Is it? No, that's not it. What is that country that he was near? It'll come to me later. It'll come to me. I can't think of it. Darn it. Man, it's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, it's okay. It'll come to me. But nonetheless, they've moved nukes into man, what is the name of that country? Man, I hate when I just draw a blank, and I know what it is, and I just can't pull it together. Belarus. There you go. Kohav, good looking out. There you go. Couldn't get it. Belarus. That's where I need y'all. All praise. All right. So you see here, and now if you even look, matter of fact, since my brother helped me out, let's just see how close they are, right? You look at this little map right here. Russia's moved nukes over here into Belarus, right? Now, Belarus poses a threat to Poland. Poland is a NATO country, right? Romania, Hungary, these are all NATO-related countries. Poland, number one, because they're the closest to the border. They're the ones who's paranoid. You know, as they said, oh, Russia done shot some missiles over here. What's going on? We got to get busy. NATO, get my back. Article 4 on deck. Because now Russia's saying, well, I didn't do it, but I can't trust you either. Move some missiles over there just in case Poland gets froggy and wants to leap. Just in case NATO thinks that they're going to go ahead and make a move on us. So they've got nukes over here right now. Okay. The water cold house. I damn sure couldn't pull that one out of my brain. But anyway, it says Russia said it was going to go to war with the West if NATO acts on the threat to shoot down Moscow's fighter jets. Tensions have reached new heights after Russia was accused of violating NATO airspace multiple times in recent weeks, forcing the alliance to scramble fighter jets to initiate its Article 4 twice. Article 4 means they come together, they get a powwow, and they're saying, hey, we need to start thinking about making a move. What should we do? It's not necessary. Basically, it's war talk. They're pulling together and saying, this might need to go down. Is everybody on board? Right? And they've had that discussion 2 times now. And from coming of that, we'll see what they reacted to. This is also something. See, Russia's helping prepare China to attack Taiwan. Documents suggest. We've talked about that ad nauseum too, right? Because now we're seeing what's happening. If Russia's assisting China to get ready to attack Taiwan, well, where does that lead us to? Revelation 16 about the kings of the east. See? Revelation 16:12, and the 6th angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up. Everybody's seen that. Everybody knows Euphrates has dried up. That prophecy has been fulfilled. What's next after that? That the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. Now, the kings of the east is who? When you hear about Eurasia, you're talking about all of the Eastern powered countries. Like Russia is a power of the East, a king of the East. China is a king of the East. India is a king of the East, right? All these particular countries, Iran, these are all Eastern Eurasian countries that have powers that all are nuclear capable, and they're preparing themselves for war. This is why we're seeing this particular headline saying Russia's helping China to prepare to attack Taiwan. And I've said it ad nauseum and said it, and I'll say it again. Let me see if I can even find that article, because some of y'all might not even remember, but there was an article at least 2 years ago that China said that they're going to attack Taiwan by 2027. See this? China, Taiwan, and the PLA's 2027 milestones. China's advancing preparation for potential conflict. Here, look at it. Forbes, 2024. China will be ready to invade Taiwan by 2027. China orders military to prepare for Taiwan invasion by 2027. Okay, so I didn't just pull those numbers and dates out my, you know what. This is all real. That's within the next year and some change. And they've already gotten assistance via their ally, Russia, through the BRICS, right? That they're going to help them. Russia's agreed to equip and train Chinese Airborne Battalion and share its expertise in airdropping armored vehicles that an analyst say could boost Beijing's capacity to seize Taiwan, according to newly obtained documents that show the two nations deepening military cooperation. And some may say, well, what's the problem? So what? That's Moabite on Moabite violence. Let the gooks battle it out. No. Why is that important? Because Taiwan is an ally of America. America has sworn that it will help and protect its invested ally in the event that something goes down. So America will have to get involved. But America don't want them problems with China and Russia right now. That's why I don't want to jump the gun. Let's move on. Let's move on. See this? Russia official issues a nuclear threat to Trump's America. Did you hear that? The IQ didn't issue this. The Russian officials are saying this, issuing nuclear threats to America now. What happened? Dmitry Medvedev, a high-ranking Kremlin official and a former president of Russia, issued a nuclear threat to the U.S. following comments by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky about targeting Russian infrastructure with American supply weaponry. And the Ukrainians did do some drone strikes in the interiors of Russia of recent. This is why they're I didn't put that in here, but just to keep it on point. Here we go. September 17th. Ukraine drone strikes hit Moscow, St. Petersburg, and Russia. Ukraine drone strike bombers during a major attack in Russia. That was in June. I'm talking about this one right here. September 17th, right? So now that they are actively doing these things, we're also seeing what? Russia's response is, what we can already, the Ukraine war is over with. We want the bully that's supplying and pushing the crash out Ukrainians. We're going for you now. Who's involved? Dmitry Medvedev, Volodymyr Zelensky, President Trump, NATO allies, Russian officials. The gang's all here. Everybody's involved. When and where comments were made amid going tensions in the Russia-Ukraine conflict, with updates shared during the United Nations General Assembly in New York. So that's being said publicly, being quoted. United Nations General Assembly in New York is being said. In New York, they're saying this. Amid all these tensions going on. See? They say, key quote, what the freak needs to know is that Russia can use weapons a bomb shelter won't protect against. Americans should also keep this in mind. Yeah. As a threat to America. Let's continue. EU chief says shooting down Russian jets is on the table. Huh? Now, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, this is EU pantsuit wearing white woman talking tough, the head of the EU. She's saying, hey, I'm ready to bomb Ukraine. I mean, I'm ready to bomb Russia. You know, there's always a woman, man, gonna be tough. Remember when Hillary Clinton, when she was, you know, had her broomstick in the office and her influence within the Democratic Party? What they do to Gaddafi? We came, we saw, he died. You know, these little white women love killing. How many of our brothers have been killed at the hands of a lying white woman? Little white witch out here telling lies about, oh, he raped me, he robbed me, he hit me. Meanwhile, it's all lies, man. Brothers get lynched, hung, burned, castrated, in the whole nine at the hands of a lying white wench. I mean, it is what it is. Here they are, and here she is over here calling the shots, saying, hey, shooting planes is on the table. Let's get to it. She's not going to suit up and get out there. She's going to talk all this and then get behind the men and say, go, go. Look at this. My opinion is we have to defend every square centimeter territory, and that means if there's an intrusion in the airspace, after warning, after being very clear, of course, the option of shooting down a fighter jet that is intruding our airspace is on the table. Von der Leyen said during an appearance at CNN, President Trump said Tuesday during this meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the United Nations General Assembly that NATO countries should shoot down Russian jets that enter the airspace. See that? It was only months ago that Trump and Zelensky was sitting there arguing in the White House, and he had to kick him out. Now all of a sudden they best buddies, and he's talking about, hey, maybe we should go ahead on and bomb Russia. I got your back. This is wild. They was just beefing. They had to kick Zelensky out the White House, and now all of a sudden he's sitting back having private conversations in dark council with him talking about let's bomb Russia, man. Or shoot down them planes, man. You see him. See, the world is upside down, man. Look at this. Netanyahu tells the UN that war will continue amid global backlash. I know many of y'all seen this. He was sitting up there thinking that everybody's gonna get his back. A gang of diplomats walked out in the midst of Netanyahu's speech. And this just goes to show you, man, these damn small hat GMO, AstroTurf heathens love war, love bloodshed, slaughtering and killing of the innocent, coveting fields and lands that's not theirs, and will go on record and saying we ain't stopping. They've already been, the UN has already acknowledged they've committed war crimes. The world has been witnessing and seeing genocide take place. And what do? They say, man, if you're not with it, you might be anti-S word. You know, we might have to go ahead and cancel you. We might have to go ahead and get you fired, arrested. You understand? Look at this. Benjamin Netanyahu castigated his weak-kneed critics and vowed to continue fighting Israel's enemies until they are, quote, gone. So what does that mean? He just got to acknowledging openly genocide. He said, I'm not going to stop until they're gone, exterminated, wiped out. In a defiant speech at the United Nations on Friday, that means he's going to have war with Ishmael and anybody that don't like it forever. And we're not stopping until they're exterminated. In a defiant speech at the United Nations on Friday that was simultaneously beamed into the Gaza Strip by speakers at the direction of the Israeli Prime Minister. He's speaking within the United Nations, and the UN has already said, man, hey, man, you committing genocide. We've done the investigation. We see what's going on. And what's he do? He tells the UN, F you. I'm going to continue on. Quit being weak-kneed and feeble. And now they sat back and people was walking out. Many of those who wage war on Israel today will be gone tomorrow. He said as throngs of diplomats walked out in protest of his address in the cavernous UN General Assembly. Right? Many of y'all seen that. But that's the spirit that's out there, man. Remember, it said that this is the spirit that's going to be in the earth. That's going to take peace from the earth. Waging war, destruction, bloodshed. There you go. Now look at this. Pete Hegseth. He orders hundreds of senior military officials for a secret meeting that all the military officials, they don't know what's going on. What's this meeting about? Why are we? Mind you, he's the head of the Department of War. Remember, it used to be the Department of Defense, the Department of War now. And in their first meeting, he's calling all of the senior military officials into a private council. What's that about? Let's see.
Grip, stability, precision. That's the essence of driving. Lawfin.
Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth has ordered hundreds of senior military officers to Virginia for an urgent meeting. The Pentagon has provided very little detail about this meeting, but CBS News senior national security correspondent Charlie Daggett tells us it's a rare event, if not unprecedented move.
CBS News has learned that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has directed numerous generals and admirals, as well as some of their staff from around the world, to come to the Marine base in Quantico, Virginia next week. I can tell you that a meeting of that size on such short notice is extremely rare, if not unprecedented. So there
there goes that word, unprecedented. That's I always tell you, anytime you hear that, know that something is about to shift in the spirit. Something is being noted as historic. This is something you got to take note of. They said this is an emergency meeting. The Department of War has come together. I mean, what else could they be talking about? The Department of War is calling an emergency meeting with all of the top military generals and officials. Proverbs 20:18 says, every purpose is established by counsel, and with good advice make war. Need I say more? The Bible already told you what this is going on. And they're having their own little secret council. He said, the men in the damn military officials, he said, they don't even know what this is about. They're like, hold on, we're already in the midst. We got our hands full with this, that, and the third. Emergency meeting? By the Department of War? Okay, we gotta go. Every purpose is established by counsel, and with good advice make war.
Let's be real. Our kids' group chats probably know how they're really doing before we do. If your child is under 26 and goes...
Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth has ordered hundreds of senior military officers to Virginia for an urgent meeting. The Pentagon has provided very little detail about this meeting, but CBS News senior national security correspondent Charlie Daggett tells us it's a rare event, if not unprecedented move.
CBS News has learned that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has directed numerous generals and admirals, as well as some of their staff from around the world, to come to the Marine base in Quantico, Virginia next week. I can tell you that a meeting of that size on such short notice is extremely rare, if not unprecedented. So there are roughly 800 generals and admirals across the armed services. It's not clear how many have been summoned to come to this meeting or even why, but there are many that are currently stationed in active war zone regions in places like the Middle East, Africa, and Europe. There are also questions as to why the secretary is having this in person rather than a secured video conference, as was usually done in the past. Aside from the obvious security risks of having all that top brass in one place at one time, it's going to cost a lot of money to fly them in from all over the world. Hegseth has already ordered a 20% reduction in four-star officers. He's ordered it. It hasn't happened. He's already fired more than a dozen high-ranking military leaders. One retired general told CBS News he may use the meeting to announce further cuts. Back to you.
Charlie, thank you.
You think he's going to spend money for them to fly back to the U.S., spend all this money to gather them together and say, you know what, I'm going to lay you guys off. I'm firing you guys. You might as well fire them virtually. That's what they said, man. We usually talk virtually. What are you talking about? Why we got to be there? It ain't to tell them they're going to be fired. If you're trying to have budget cut back, why spend money to fly somebody out to tell them they're going to be fired? Save the money and tell them virtually you're fired. No, that ain't what it's going to go down. That's why they damn talking head media be making up BS, man, trying to lighten everything up. And maybe they're going to tell them they're fired, or maybe. Come on, man. They pulling together council so that they can get ready for warfare.
You for that?
Look, U.S. preparing options for military strikes on drug targets inside Venezuela. Hello? Is anybody there? You see what's going on? America is now continuing to pick on the Caribbean, picking on Venezuela. They've struck two fish boats twice. Still to date, we ain't seen no evidences of drugs, no evidences of any cartel affiliations, nothing. The 11 people they killed the first time, we ain't seen nothing from it. But we know America covets Venezuela for the oil and the resources. Venezuela's been defiant since Julio Chavez or Cesar Chavez? Julio Chavez? I forgot which one. Cesar or Julio? I can't remember. I think it was Cesar Chavez. Julio. Man. Hugo Chavez. I'm saying Julio. Hugo Chavez. Since then and before, in the 90s, when Venezuela took a stance and told the U.S. and the IDF, the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, we don't want no more loans. We want you out of here. Stop trying to colonize. Stop throwing in these damn puppet leaders, and we're done. We paid our debts off. We're going to be self-sustained. We're going to use a socialist economy. We're done with democracy and all of that. America and the IMF was like, you ungrateful little brown turds. We're going to ruin you. Sanctions on you. Nobody deal with you. Anybody that deals with you, we're getting on them too. Oil, you can shut it down. Forget about it. You can go ahead on and try it on your own with socialism. Inflation is going to destroy your dollar. Plus, we still got people on the inside. The elites in Venezuela, they're living high on the hog. The rest of the country's living poor because they're still, in cahoots with America. I mean, it's a dirty game that they did, how they doing it. So they've been covered in Venezuela and those resources for a long time. And now Trump just said, forget it. We're going to go get it. Now, if they're successful with this and they boot out Maduro, guaranteed they're going to go put in a puppet leader, just like they do everywhere else. They do these coups. They try to do a coup with Hugo Chavez. They did coups with other other presidential leaders in the Central and South America. If you notice, you see a lot of these leaders and presidents over there, man, they all are Spaniards, and they all ain't even from the damn place, from the land. I think, what was it? Ecuador, and this is all from watching that documentary, South of the Border. Ecuador had its first indigenous leader sometime in the 90s, since they've been colonized. Everything else was always some Spaniards. You see the woman down there, Shine Bomb. That sounds like a Latin name, doesn't it? The leader of Mexico, Shine Bomb, a small hat AstroTurf heathen. She's running Mexico. You look at the guy down there, Milei, in Argentina, another damn Spaniard who destroyed that country, who's about to get a loan from America to bail them out. He was getting paraded around as being the South America's Trump. Did y'all hear about him? The leader of Argentina? He was getting paraded around. Oh, he was the outsider. He was the radical. He used to run around with chainsaws talking about her. He was going to chop the economy up and get it back. And look, he's got a $4.6 billion crypto scandal. We know that Agent Orange, he got multiple charges on him. Some of them getting dropped. Some of them is probably deserved. See, there you go. This is Buddy. Look at it. This Argentinian. This is an indigenous Argentinian. Look at their hands. I can't tell the difference. They're the same damn people. He went down there. He destroyed Argentina now. America's getting ready to bail them out so that they can go back and take control of Argentina now. That's just off. That's just moving in the spirit. Talking about how America's trying to take over South Central America, the Caribbean islands. They're getting ready to try to monopolize and bankroll the whole place, destroy them, and then come in, buy pennies on the dollar so that they can take over. So they're already talking about preparing military strikes inside Venezuela now. They ain't talking about hitting the boats. They talking about invading, bombing, taking over Venezuela. All right. And we've been talking about this for a hot minute now. It's only coming to pass and showing and proving. And notice too, because Venezuela also has relations with China and with Russia. They ran military drills together. Venezuela's been sitting on hold, waiting to get into the BRICS. Let me make sure. See, they've been trying to get them in. Venezuela thanks the UN for the support of the BRICS. Venezuela's difficult path to the BRICS membership. Venezuela's furious at Brazil's BRICS snub. See, Brazil voted them out. You know how it is, man. In Brazil, they can only be one lapdog for a so-called white man. They mad. Brazil said, no. Where you even see Brazil's president. I mean, all these guys, man, it's all damn Spaniards and puppeteer leaders in there. Right? But Venezuela has relations with both China and Russia, which makes them let's see here. Venezuela. Let's see. See right here? China and Russia conduct joint sub-patrols. Should American worry? Look, China and Russia team up against the U.S. in the U.S.-Venezuela war. That was 7 days ago. See, it's not just about Venezuela. It's who else is attached to these particular countries. Look, Venezuela expands ties with Russia amid escalating tensions with the U.S. It's all connected. All connected, okay? France puts airborne nuclear force to the test in Operation Poker Drill. Yeah. So France now is putting in air drill with nuclear deterrent exercises going on, preparing, right? Like I said, the notice described a national operation involving flights at low, medium, and high altitude, as well as air-to-air refueling interceptions and airborne detection missions. Operation Poker is going on with France. You've just seen Trump sitting with the president of France, the prime minister of France, talking about him flipping on Russia and jumping in with Ukraine, saying, yeah, we got to do something. Yeah, we should shoot them down. So they're all in lockstep together. Let's continue. Denmark considers getting NATO involved after hybrid drone attacks above airports. There we go. Denmark now is saying, hey, NATO, let's get to it. U.S. fighter jets scrambled to intercept Russian warplanes near Alaska. You see the common theme? Everybody's getting at Russia. Everybody's preparing. Russia saying, hey, mess with me. I'm bombing. I'm nuking America. We got you in our crosshairs. Even down to little old Venezuela, they get touched. Russia's involved. You understand? Now we're seeing America imploding from the inside too. Former FBI Director James Comey expected to be indicted for lying to Congress. Well, guess what? We always say, white man speak with forked tongue. He's a known liar. He's a devil. Oh, you can't say that. How dare you? A devil is a deceiver. James Comey, he's been indicted by his own people in Congress. You lied. You did some devilish things, right? So what's wrong with saying it? See, this is Satan casting out Satan. Ain't that a beat? So James Comey, enemy of the president, now he's getting indicted along with others. They're saying Trump is on a rampage, man. He's trying to indict all of his political enemies, calling out corruption. This is him, quote unquote, cleaning the swamp. But in the meantime, he's adding in his own water moccasins and swamp things and everything else. So America's got a lot of problems going on. When you got the FBI director got caught lying, I mean, they all lie. Let's keep it real. They all need to be indicted. They all need to be, brought up on charges and locked away. That's why the Most High said, man, you know what? The only thing you can do is it got to be a complete regime change. We need a new king. Yeah, right? Yahweh Shai. We need new rulers to govern and regulate everything. Okay, the Israelites. We need new laws implemented. Moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws, ceremonial laws, sacrificial laws. We need all those things imparted in here. We need to get the nations back under control because they're losing patience. They're going crazy under the hand of the so-called white man. They need to be regulated and governed. Okay, let them grab the hold of the skirt of him that's a Jew by the tens and say, we heard the Lord's with you, man. Teach us your ways. We're sick of being ruled over by the damn white man. He can't even rule his own self. The earth is even pleading and crying, saying, damn, I'm tired of getting pillaged and plummeted and destroyed. Revelation 11 says he's going to destroy him which destroys the earth. Even the earth is precious because the Lord said that the earth was made for our sakes. If he destroys it, then we got no inheritance left. He's got to go. And here they are casting each other out. You lied. No, you lied. No, you lied. Yeah, okay. All of y'all got to go then. Period. Look, Secret Service foils a massive plot to cripple NYC cell network and threaten the UN General Assembly. So they got, the little terror cells is in here. They tried to take down the cell network. They had an attack on the radar system and all that at the airports in Dallas last week. There was another one with the departing flights leaving out of Europe. They had to shut that down from cyber attacks and hacks. It's going down, man. On multiple areas. That's why you got to keep your head on a swivel. It's things going on here, there, and everywhere. And it's all leading up to one thing. Jacob's trouble, and outside of that, the deliverance of the children of Israel and the end of Esau's world and the beginning of it that followeth, which is the kingdom of Yahweh Shai. Look at this. Multiple dead after sniper open fires on illegal immigrants at the Dallas Detention Center. Cops reveal how the killer carried out the ambush. Y'all seen that? This is not breaking news. I'm sure everybody knows what's going on, but this is also showing you the spirit that's within the earth. That red horse, man, and peace being taken away, another damn white man. And this is what's so crazy is the same MO. Oh, they're writing on the bullets. He was anti-ICE. He was supposed to have been shooting at the ICE agents, but ended up killing 2 migrants. How do we know? How do you know he didn't like them Hispanics and thought he was doing ICE a favor and then killed himself? They said he was shooting all over the place. Just happened to hit 2 migrants in an unmarked van. I'm prone to believe he didn't like Hispanics. He didn't like the quote unquote migrants and them damn fake anti-ICE bullets and everybody tattooing bullets. Now that's bullshit. I don't believe that at all. How's that the trend all of a sudden now? Everybody writing on the bullets. All the damn transformers are writing on the magazines and the bullets. Come on, man. Let's stop the foolishness. This is when they implement their own storyline, implement their own narrative. They say, oh, it's a pattern. Copycats. Yeah. No. Not buying that. I believe he was shooting at the Northern Kingdom. Took out 2 and then killed himself. He wasn't shooting at no ICE agents. Give me a break. See? Gunman opened fire at a secretive Air Force base home into Area 51. So, even the damn alien enthusiasts at Area 51, they over there shooting at the Air Force base over there. It said that a gunman opened fire on Air Force Base in Nevada linked to Area 51. According to police, the unknown suspect fired rounds at the main gate of the site and was behaving erratically around 12:30 a.m. Wednesday in Las Vegas. A Nellis Air Force Base spokesperson told the Daily Mail the security officers then challenged the suspect who pointed his firearm at them, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police said. So, these guys, man, they're shooting at Air Force bases, ICE facilities. They're sniping out political pundits and internet celebrities. I mean, all hell is breaking loose, man. You see it. And at the same time, you've got the neo-Nazis are gradually on all of these little dark web channels on Telegram and what's the other one that begins with a D? Discord and all these other ones. They're quietly recruiting, getting prepared, getting ready. I'm talking to one of the brothers at Trumpets. He was talking about the white Armenians and all that. All of them is out there in MMA, boxing up. Esau is out there training, preparing their ass off. And Jake is sitting over here, man, sipping lean, shooting each other up and acting a damn fool. They're going to get wiped out. Because, we get vain in our spirit, vain in our talent, and vain in our, our propensity to think like, hey, you know what, man, it ain't nothing but a white boy. I'll take him out. Okay. They preparing while Jake ain't. You know it is. We know when you're playing sports, and they always talk about, the greater teams, the dominant teams. They play lackadaisical for 3 quarters, and then they begin their butt kicked, and next they flip the switch in the 4th quarter, and they end up taking over. The Lakers used to be known for doing that in the Kobe and Shaq era. Jordan and all of them in the Jordan Pippen era. There was always a switch you could turn on. All right, let's stop playing. Let's get busy. That's Jake, man. Jake always feel like I can always flip the switch and handle my business. There ain't gonna be no switch you can flip for this particular confrontation of hell that's coming on the earth. You got to get your spirit right now. Mentally, physically, spiritually, the whole nine. And I'm speaking to myself as I'm speaking to everybody else. Continuing on. On the tech side, Larry Ellison, a media mogul like no other. This is the same guy that owns Oracle. We've talked about Oracle, Palantir, all of the AI tech heads that Trump has employed to create the surveillance state, to enter into the beast system. Right now, we're seeing here the conglomerate control that everything's going to be put under one particular umbrella. This is how we're seeing a one world system. It's starting here. Larry Ellison, a media mogul like no other, the database billionaire, and his son David are Trump favorites. The family could soon control an empire that includes CBS, Paramount, Warner, CNN, and a piece of TikTok. So you've got 5 major media outlets that they're getting ready to have control over. And they say a piece of TikTok because the rest is going to Oracle, Palantir, Google AI, and all of that. TikTok is about to be controlled like no other. No other. So CBS, Paramount, Warner, CNN, all those particular media outlets is going to be under one umbrella, controlled by one family. All the rest is already fading out, People are already relying upon YouTube for their information. YouTube is owned and co-opted by Google, so they ain't got to compete. They're already on board with the system, right? TikTok is just got acquired and turned over. They slapped Moab's hand and said, not yours no more. It's ours. We'll take that off your hands. We're going to regulate and run it in our own fashion, right? You can't worry about it. Instagram is connected with Meta. And we know that, what's his name? Zuckerberg is on board with the system. He's getting ready to build a whole big old data center in where is he building that thing at? He's building a new AI data center. There you go. $50 billion he's getting ready to spend on an AI data center in Louisiana. Manhattan sized. Can you imagine? They're getting ready to suck every amount of energy, land, the whole nine out of Louisiana. That's going to price out and move out a whole lot of Jake from out of there, because guess what? When that AI data center using up all that energy, that's going to boost the energy prices for everybody living in Louisiana. In the boot, you're going to get the boot up out of there. Because they're getting ready to colonize that whole thing, man, and turn it into a whole tech center with 5G and radiation flying all over the place. Cancer rate's going to go up, the whole nine. They don't give a damn. All of the tech heads, they call them technocrats. These are all the ones that rule via technology. Let's look at that real quick. Look at it. Technocratic refers to a system or approach in governance where decision makers are chosen based on their technical expertise and knowledge in specific fields, rather than popular elections. The concept emphasizes the role of experts in making informed decisions for society. Okay, this is what they're basing everything on. You got a technocratic elite that's running around here, like the likes of Larry Ellison, Elon Musk, Zuckerberg, all of the what's the other cat that runs Palantir? I forgot his name, but they're all in cahoots, man. So they're all the monopoly is already there. That Ministry of Truth of that we keep talking about in 1984, it's here. They already created it. They're getting ready to create this beast system, man. It's gonna be like no other. All right. So these particular acquisitions, and we're seeing the faces, matching the faces with the names. I mean, these guys look weird too. Let's look at good old Larry. You know, Tony Stark looking guy, man. What's the other guy, man? Peter Thiel. He's a dangerous cat too. That's all these cats, man. I better stop saying names before they turn off the lights over here. Let's continue on though. All right. Look, Trump signs a TikTok executive order avoiding the U.S. ban. So people, you remember last year when Slow Biden said, "Man, we banned the TikTok." People was crying. They was all confessing, "Yeah, I've been scamming everybody. I'm sorry. Now the TikTok's gone. It is what it is. This is how I make my money. What am I gonna do?" And Agent Orange came in and said, "Hey, we're gonna give a 90-day extension. I'm gonna get a deal done. We're gonna figure it out." That 90 days turned into another 90 days. So here we are again. He said, "Well, give me another 90 days." It was all to get TikTok out the hands of the Chinese, because they were saying, "Hey, you're getting exposed to our citizens' information and tracking and this, that, and the third, and cookies, and what we want to be able to do that." Struck the deal. Now it's official. Trump signed an executive order approving a deal to keep TikTok in the U.S. The Chinese-owned social media platform is set to be spun off into a separate U.S. entity. So the TikTok that is going to exist post here is going to be operated, owned, tracked, traced, approved by, all of the permissions is going to be done via U.S. entity-based interests. No connection to China no more. They said, China, you can have yours. You can still have your own TikTok, but the one in America, that we'll own that. We're going to take your idea, your concepts. You know, Esau's cold. He said they're going to have their own spinoff. They're going to keep the same name, same logo, the technology and everything else. Basically, Esau said, we're going to take that from you. We're going to say it's ours. You can still have it. It's Debo. Remember Debo did the red? Got him for his bike. And Red was like, it can be like it's both of ours. Remember that? From Friday? Yeah, America's Debo. China is Red. And China bowed down and said, it can be like it's both of ours. Yeah, that's what I thought so. All right. So America now is going to have their own TikTok version, and guess who's going to run it? Larry Ellison and the rest of the creeps, right? Why is that important? Look, 1 in 5 Americans now regularly get news on TikTok, up sharply from 2020. So they're seeing the usages, the information, the news. People are leaning toward TikTok more for their outlets for information and news. America says, we see the uptick. That's where they're going. We need to control the narrative. We need to control what's going on. We need to regulate. We need the guidelines that we can say what you can and can't say. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's where and why they seen the interest. The trend is up. TikTok got a lot of good information on there, and they got a lot of bullshit on there too. Mostly BS. But there's a remnant of information that's good on there that you can probably extract from. I don't have a TikTok, but when I get links sent to me, I see it through that, or websites or like news articles might have a TikTok link embedded in it where I watch it that way. But the fact of the matter is that people are trending towards utilizing and using TikTok more for their news and information. So what better way to control that than to just buy out? Where and how people are getting fed. 50 U.S. adults now regularly get news on TikTok, up from just 3% in 2020. In fact, during that span, no social media platform we've studied has experienced faster growth in news consumption, according to a new Pew Research Center analysis. So TikTok is the fastest rising news outlet people are grasping onto right now. So don't think that it's any coincidence that America says we need to compromise that. Right? Wide is the gate that leads to destruction. Narrow is the gate that leads to life, and few there be that find it. Where everybody's going ain't where you might not want to be there. But that's just an example of how Esau utilizes the analytics and sees what it is, and he's gonna get in there and compromise it. You've seen the articles we talked about the last couple of weeks, how YouTube, all these particular outlets, Instagram is gonna get flooded and taken over by AI, from podcasts to videos to news. Everything is going to be AI. That's why I say even the side hustles Jakes is doing. Well, I'm getting paid off my podcast. I'm getting paid. That's going to be replaced because they about to flood this thing with all kind of damn AI podcasts and everything else, taking away your views, taking away your, manipulating your analytics and your ability to get any success on YouTube anymore. Them checks is going to get slimmer and slimmer. And it's going to be a problem, right? So here you go. Let's move on. More than 500,000 people back in petition urging for digital ID card to be scrapped. Unfortunately, that ain't going down. They're getting ready to push a digital ID in the UK. It's about to be mandatory, and particularly and this is how they do. He sounds so slick, man. They create this particular incident, just like, with 9/11, we always talk about it. They put in the Patriot Act and among other new laws and surveillance laws and travel bans and all this other stuff, right? So here they use immigration as the key component to start changing, mixing, and implementing laws. We got the FEMA camps now. Now you got a military on the streets. Racial profiling is allowed, everything else. Same thing they did in Europe. They broke down Europe with immigration and invasions of migrants and all of that too. Now they're saying, well, the only way we can regulate that is we need to have a digital ID and biometric linked cards so that we can make sure who's eligible to work and who's a real citizen, who isn't. We need everybody on this one page. Look, more than 500,000 people have signed a petition opposing Sir Keir Starmer's plans to make every adult in Britain have a digital ID card. Did you hear that? Every adult in Britain is to have a digital ID card. Only 500,000, 500,000. That's a lot of people, but in comparison to the normal population, that's a small fact of people who are willing to fight back and say, no, we don't want it. Prime Minister said that the so-called Brit cards will make it tougher to work illegally in this country, making our borders more secure. See that? Oh, it's to protect you. Meanwhile, the digital ID cards are going to get transferred into your ways of buying, selling, working, the whole nine. You ain't got it, you ain't going to be able to survive. Traveling, you name it. It says, but critics say they will do nothing to curb illegal immigration and leave the personal information of millions at risk of data leaks and cyber attacks. Hundreds of thousands are backed an e-petition on Parliament's website, which calls for the move to step towards mass surveillance and digital control. Okay, at least 500,000 people know what the end results is and know what the backdoor policy is. The rest of them don't know. They have no idea. They just like, hey, okay, sounds good. I'm sick of these Muslims coming in here anyway. Confirming the measure this morning, Sir Keir said, I know working people are worried about the level of illegal migration into this country. A secure border and controlled migration are reasonable demands, and this government is listening and delivering. Digital ID is an enormous opportunity for the UK. It will make it tougher to work illegally in this country, making our borders more secure. Who else has the same problem? Oh, here, America, the US, yeah. You think they might implement that? You think that this might be a beta test, that they're going to use one of their subservient nations to get them to do it? China's already on board, right? India's on board. Kenya's on board. The UK is now on board. They're just getting it, it's gradualism. They're getting all these other nations to do it. And now when America gets hit, boom, with a big old plague, some big issue jump off, some black swan event jump off, people are going to be begging to be secure. Digital ID, fine, I'll take it. Whatever I need to do. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to get invaded. I want them people out of here. Whatever. Then America is going to say, okay, it's our turn now. Look, the rest of the world is doing it. What are you waiting for? And the reason the holdup is because if the UK got 500,000 people backing and saying heck no, America's got at least 5 million that's going to say hell no. And we got the Second Amendment. And we got the First Amendment. We ain't going for it. So America's got to be a little bit more delicate in how they approach this. But they're going to do it. Look, American travelers to Europe will be forced to hand over bio data before flights starting next month. Oh, yeah. Well, if you're going to Europe, you're going to need to be fingerprinted and biometrically scanned to go to Europe if you're coming from America. See, that gradualism. You go there, we're going to need to keep digital, passport means on you. But when you come here, it's a little different. See, that's how they slowly but surely ease you into it. Americans flying to Europe will need to be fingerprinted under new EU regulations being brought in next month. From October 12th, U.S. citizens will have to go through the EU's entry and exit system to enter into 29 countries, including France, Germany, Italy, and Spain. Under the new system, passport control agents will take fingerprints of facial image and passport details. B system, digital system, AI system is here. It's just gradually spreading its damn wings all over the place. The tentacles on the damn Hydra is out reaching out and slapping and attaching to everything. Oh, look at it. Thailand, a case of biometric control. Thailand has become a test for the use of biometric data in every facet of life. Facial recognition data is required for every single transfer of above 50,000 baht. Daily transfers of 200,000 baht, and an international transfer from personal accounts. So Thailand is using a biometric system, biometric IDs, digital IDs for their banking system now. And guess what? At the push of a button, they froze 3 million people's bank accounts. That's the trap. That's where everybody, this is where this is all headed. This is why it's important to say, well, your ability to buy, sell, and all of that. You ain't got to worry about getting something shot up in your arm, or I mean, under your right hand and popped in your forehead. It's already here. You can get cut off immediately. And they always use the little heathens, the beta test on them. So we just seen an article before. They're being utilized for a biometric beta test. Hold on. See this case study, biometric data control. So Thailand's already gone through it, right? And then in the midst of them being entrusted with it, they froze 3 million people's bank accounts. Thailand has become a case study for the use of biometric data in every facet of life. Every banking transaction is monitored and scrutinized. Any perceived discrepancy is flagged as fraud and punished without due process. Regulations have overwhelmed the system, resulting in full-fledged banking crisis. Over 3 million Thai bank accounts were frozen instantaneously without warning as a result of a government overreach. So, not giving nobody financial advice, but I've said it in times past. You better make sure you got a little bit of that paper that you can put in a shoebox, put underneath your mattress, and put it in a safe. Make sure you got some hard coinage. If you know what I mean. I don't want to talk too much finance and no money on the Sabbath, but have some backup plans to help save you in the event that they cut you off. So this is the test. Remember, the things that are done aforetime are for our learning. That's scripture. This is the result of millions of people banking in Thailand. The Bank of Thailand, with the Cybercrime Investigation Bureau, with the Ministry of Digital Economy and Society, began an excessive crackdown on perceived fraud and streamlined the process under the premise of safeguarding the banking sector. Yeah, all they're going to say is anytime that you're attached to something that they don't like, oh, you're involved in fraud, money laundering, wiring. Oh, you're sending money to those Israelites. Oh, that's money laundering. That's bank fraud. Oh, this is they can say anything. It's fraud. They're gonna be shutting down Jake's treasuries, they camps, they killing all of that stuff. Your personal life, whatever you got going on. Oh, we don't like what you're saying, what you're doing. You spoke about this, that, and the third. We need to investigate your finances. Or you bought something from China off of Amazon. China's our enemy. What are you doing buying from them? Flag their account until we do an investigation. This is how petty they're going to utilize these things. Okay? Thousands of accounts are frozen each week. Panic has ensued. Retailers are no longer accepting cards, demanding payment in cash, as they too are worried that they will be removed from the banking system. Did you hear that? The default was cash only, going back to that old school. And if that doesn't work, it's going to be a highly secured QR code app or whatever the case may be on your phone that only you can verify, biometrically linked to you as your means of payment. Similar to what they're doing like at Amazon now. You scan your card, you put your palm print on there, they match your biometrics to your card. Now all you got to do, you go to Whole Foods, you can pay with your hand, your palm print, because it's already linked to your card. That's going to be the new system. Oh, UN faces big budget cuts and job losses after U.S. funding dries up. Oh, when things go broke, the UN is claiming broke, U.S. claiming broke, the world claiming broke. When everybody needs money, what do? Go to war. That's classic 101, how to boost and stimulate economies, go to war, how to destroy others' economies, go to war, how to print, have an excuse to print money, go to war. Drums of war, the trumpets are echoing if you're listening. right? So the UN saying, hey, we're broke, we're laying off too. America's doing the same damn thing. That's what we just got to saying. And the 30th is the possible government shutdown. And Trump saying, hey, man, we're going to fire. We're getting rid of people. We ain't furloughing. It used to be, they always avoid a shutdown. 12 o'clock at night, they're able to get through it. I'm interested in this go around because Trump is saying, I'd rather fire people than go through all of that. We ain't got to worry about, we got to worry about keeping their jobs and holding on to them. And, we don't want to do people like that. He's like, hey, man, fire him. F it. So we're going to see. The government shuts down on the 30th. That means people about to lose their jobs too. Wall Street legendary crash guy sounds alarm on Trump's economy after spotting echoes of 1929 meltdown. Well, I said this, I did a class on this 4 years ago, showing the parallels between the roaring 20s and 2020, this millennial 2020. The parallels are easy. I'll probably have to re-upload that lesson because I seen it and understood, hey, the same thing we see. You had the 1919, you had the Spanish flu. All of a sudden in 2020, here comes COVID. After that goes down, the economy was going. They had the technological advances was going up. People was encouraged to spend because they was getting the little stimulus monies. The EDD scams going on, PVP. Things are going to everybody. That's why they called the Roaring 20s. Everybody had money. Everybody was falling. But then guess what? You had war. World War One, with that people just coming off of that propaganda, they were telling people buy war bonds and invest this, that, and the third. And somebody had the bright idea to renege on that, crash the economy. I mean, there was technological advancements from the car to vacuums, and what are we seeing now? All the AI tech, smart home, smart this, all the technological advancements, all that was going on during the same time. And what did it end up doing? By the 1929, the crash went down, 30, Great Depression, all hell broke loose. So there is a parallel that's going on in the spirit that we have to pay attention to that trend too. I'm going to re-upload that lesson now that I'm thinking about it, just so you can kind of see and relate to what's going on. But you see here, the Wall Street legendary crash guy, he's saying the same damn thing. Mark Spitznagel. Sounds like he's ready to pile somebody. Spitznagel. Right? But he's saying, hey, it's a perverse market. It's going down. Be prepared. Everybody's saying that the crash is going to come. It's not even an if, it's when. So there's going to be war. There's going to be economic depression and crash. There's going to be famines. There's going to be civil unrest. I mean, all this stuff is coming at once, but gradually. I shouldn't say at once. Eventually, it's all going to be a accumulation of things all together, but it's going to gradually come slowly but surely. Each one's going to hit like an avalanche. Look, Starbucks to cut hundreds more corporate jobs and closing stores. 900 employees about to get laid off. Good old Starbucks, man. I knew it was over and the hoods was being gentrified when Starbucks started popping up in all the hoods. And Jake's running around with their pinkies up with lattes and drinks and all this other stuff in their hands. Oh no, it's over with. You pay how much for that? $5-6 for a cup of coffee? Okay, I'm cool. What? Now even their beloved Starbucks now is getting hit. That should tell you something. White House orders agencies to prepare mass layoff plans in the event of a shutdown. See that? We just got to talk about that. Trump talking about laying off. He's basically firing people. Not going to be no furloughs in the event of a quote-unquote shutdown. They got, what, 3 days to figure it out? We'll see. Look at this. Even the damn animals, Sirach 39 tells us about spirits that are created for vengeance, teeth of wild beasts. They got these squirrels, man, that's out here attacking people out here in California and other places. Squirrels are attacking unsuspecting Californians in a bloody rampage. UZL, you better be careful over there, man. Domesticating your boy. He might flip on you. But these damn squirrels are going to get rabid, man. Look at it.
Me, little bastard! Why, fucker, get off me!
And look who they're attacking, though. Look who they're attacking.
Me, little bastard! Why, fucker, get off me!
Look, a man's best friend, even the dogs can't help him. One of the dogs walk away. Look at him.
Me, little bastard!
He getting in the way. The other one about to walk away. See? Man, we got his boy's like, man, you can deal with it. I'm out of here. Wherever the man's best friend. He's supposed to be protecting him. That dog said, man, get him. Get him. He ain't got no control. That's because the Lord said, man, hey, the animals and the beasts is going to turn on this guy, man. Goddamn squirrels is outraged. Alvin and the Chipmunks. They're coming at him. You see this? Sirach 39:28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath that made them. Verse 30. Chief of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. That ain't even a wild beast. But if you see that report, man, people getting scarred up, scratched up, jacked up over these squirrel attacks. So, you know, everything is falling into place, man. Everything's falling into place. Venezuela got hit by 6.3 magnitude earthquake. There was a couple other earthquakes that happened this week as well. Venezuela's catching it, man. Not only are they getting hit by, you know, America and their threats of invasion, they're getting hit with earthquakes, right? You see this sinkhole over there in Bangkok, Thailand. Look at it. That's the earth swallowing up its inhabitants. You seen that in the Exodus? The rebellious men wanted to usurp authority over Aaron and Moses. Drew in like 14,000 Israelites to follow them. Most High opened up the earth, man, killed all of them. We're seeing that play out right now. That's a big old sinkhole. That thing is still moving. Yeah, you better back up. They sitting back watching. So y'all can see. We ain't need to give. I don't like hearing that. I can't deal with that. But y'all see what time it is. Y'all see what time it is, man. I mean, hey, if you didn't know, now you know, man. A lot of things are jumping off right now. A lot of things that we have to pay attention to. A lot of things we got to be vigilant in. Number one, number two is we got to fear the Most High. We got to keep the commandments. We got to stay in our prayer mode. We're going to be going over atonement later this afternoon for our closing Shabbat class. Day of Atonement begins the 30th at sundown and will be ending on the 1st at sundown. That's our calculations. I know some are keeping it on the 29th. More power to them, all praises. But from our calculations and our diligence with the calendar over the years, we've taken everything into account to understand and know that it's on the 30th. So we'll be keeping Atonement 30th, Tuesday, at sundown. Very important to stay in tune with your acts of repentance, our acts of repentance, pleading and crying to the Most High for our forgiveness, for him to stay and draw closer to us, never to depart from us, have our spirit be taken from us, We're praying for the forgiveness of our sins, the sins of our forefathers, foremothers, our households, your individual sins, right? We need it. We need it, man. Time is of the essence right now. If any time that you need the Most High on your side and you're pleading for His mercy and His grace, it's now. So, with that being said, I'm going to close out. And Lord willing, see y'all in a few hours. 4:15, we'll be having our closing Shabbat class here, Pacific Standard Time. See y'all then. In closing, always remember, fear the Most High, keep the commandments, don't shoot the messenger. Shalom.